Welcome, everyone, to the final live streamed Christmas Revels Portland Jam on this shortest day. I'm Bruce Hostetler. I'm the artistic director of the Portland Revels. I'd like to thank you all for your generous support of this Christmas Revels and of the Portland Revels. We'd also like to thank Ronnie LaCroute, the Miller Foundation, the Kinsman Foundation, Autzen Foundation, and Southwest Family Physicians and Oregon Medical Weight Loss and Wellness. A couple of things before we get started. If you have questions or comments during the show, you're welcome to interact via live chat on YouTube, on your computer, on your tablet, on your phone, however you're watching. If you are watching on your TV, you will not see those comments. If you're watching on your computer or your phone or your tablet and you don't want to see those comments, put your video in full screen mode. Hover your mouse over the bottom right corner of the video and click on the broken square. It's the icon at the bottom right. This evening, before you experience the Christmas Revels, you get a backstage pass with music directors Robert Lockwood and Betsy Branch.
Happy winter solstice, everyone. Thank you for joining us as we bring back the light together. Betsy and I are excited to share a little bit about the music you'll be hearing tonight. There are several singing groups that are part of this year's show. Last year, we were not able to bring any singers together in person safely for our virtual revels, so we used recordings that we already had made a few years before. But this year, we were able to safely rehearse and record with 20 adult and teen singers, all of whom have been in a Revels show before, so they're experienced. You'll see and hear them sing 5 songs in the show. In addition to the Revels chorus of adults and teens, 10 of our Revels children recorded songs at home to form a virtual chorus again, just as they did last year, and they sang 2 songs that you'll see and hear in the show. And we hope that we will be able to bring everybody together in person next year.
Also this year, and this is new for us, we had 2 wonderful local Portland singing groups that collaborated with us. Kingdom Sound and the Portland Interfaith Gospel Choir. And originally we were going to have them record live with us and we were going to film them. But of course, because of COVID, we went to Plan B again. And they provided us with some videos that we have magically put into our Revel show. And we're so grateful for that collaboration. It's been wonderful to have them a part of our Revels this year.
And we hope to do more of that in the future.
Absolutely.
With them and with other groups. Betsy, tell us about the band musicians you brought together for this year's show.
Oh, what a dream. I love these people. So along with me in the band, we have Leela Grace on banjo and guitar, Elias Alexander, who plays many things, but in this he played whistle and fiddle, and Owen Hoffman-Smith, who played cello and bass. And it just so happens that everyone in the band is also a singer. So we decided for one of our band sets to do a song. And we're doing a song by Alison Burns from Scotland. And this is a song I learned at Pinewoods Camp this summer from my friend Brendan. And he's friends with Alison, who wrote the song. So it was really special to learn the song this summer with people singing it together and then get to sing it with these wonderful musicians. And I just want to say thanks to all of the band members for keeping with us through all the COVID stuff and coming through, and they were amazing to work with this year.
And they've all been in the Rebel show before too, haven't they?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. And they were all in our virtual show last year in my big band, and then they've all been in various other shows.
Yeah, great. Well, I'd like to tell you a little bit about a couple of the songs that the chorus will sing in this year's show. For this year's virtual Revels, we focus primarily on American music, including carols and songs that span over 200 years. And I'd like to tell you about a couple of them. The first chorus song in the show that you'll hear is called Brightest and Best. And this carol comes from the shape note singing tradition of America that became widespread in the 19th century and is still very much alive in this century and was last century, particularly in the South. The carol is also known as Star in the East and Shepherd's Star. So there are quite a few settings of it. And this setting comes to us from the Ritchie family in Kentucky. Jean Ritchie was a very well-known folk singer, particularly in the 1960s and 1970s. Her singing and playing of this particular carol inspired me and inspired our chorus in working on it. And it is also the only setting that I know of this text that uses a major key vibe, if you will, for the chorus, which has the words brightest and best. Would you play a little bit of that for us?
Sure. It sounds like this.
Thank you.
It sounds so bright. It's
It
perfect
sounds so
for
bright.
that
Yeah, so
song.
listen for that when it comes up. Now, one of the other songs that we're going to be singing is actually one that we did back in 2012. It may seem like 1912 has been quite a couple of years here. Anyway, that song is called Shiloh, and it's by the early American composer William Billings, who composed it in 1781. Billings was very active in the latter half of the 18th century and published 6 volumes of choral music, almost all of it in 4-part harmony. He was a self-taught musician, so there are at times some rather peculiar choices that he made in his writing. Shiloh comes from much later in his life when he had developed some techniques, and so it is written in 4-part harmony, but what we've done is done a little rearranging of the voicing of it, so that listen at the beginning, you'll hear the tenors and basses singing the first verse, and then they're followed by the sopranos and altos, and they're singing actually each of them in 3-part harmony, and then it goes to 4-part harmony. The other thing to listen for is how Billings shifts back and forth between 4/4 time and 6/4 time, or duple and triple meter, which makes the piece dance by having that rhythmic variety in it. So listen for those things. Betsy, tell us something about the instrumental music and the sound effects that you worked on.
All right. So throughout the show, there's various kinds of instrumental music. For one thing, the band that I hired accompanied the chorus on many of their songs, and also did some of the music that you'll hear during the film. And then for the story and for the children's music, in the story, it's mostly me playing violin and guitar in various layers, but you'll also hear at some point this sound. I'll even hold it up so you can see. And that was me playing these very crystal wine goblets, which were wedding presents for us, for Mark and I. And so that shows up at some point. Listen for the crystal wine goblets. And on one of the kids' songs, my friend Bill Tomchak played clarinet, and that added a really nice layer to that song. And also, I really want to give Bill a big shout out for doing a whole bunch of sound mixing for us on this. He mixed together all these different parts that I recorded for the story, and we could not have done that without his help. Thank you, Bill. And I also one really interesting instrumental bit is during our Mummers play, which is one of the most unique Mummers plays I have ever seen. And we hired this wonderful piano player named Rodney Sauer, and Rodney is from Boulder, Colorado. And his whole job, his whole specialty is to make music for silent movies. And so he has a group called the Monte Alto Motion Picture Orchestra, and he travels around and plays for silent movies, and it's absolutely wonderful. He shows up here in town in Vancouver sometimes and works with musicians in the Vancouver Symphony. So you really need to watch for that. If ever you see that happening in Vancouver, go. I went last month to see Safety Last with Harold Lloyd and Rodney's small group playing, and it was just absolutely wonderful. So yay, thank you, Rodney. So those are some of the things to watch for.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for tuning in and watching the show tonight, and for helping us bring back the light. So we'll hand this back over to Bruce now.
Absolutely. Welcome Yule, everybody.
Enjoy the show. Welcome Yule.
Thank you, Betsy. Thank you, Robert. Welcome, Yule. Revels is many things, and one of the most important things for me is singing together. If you miss singing as much as I do, Portland Revels is bringing back our spring community chorus. It's a non-audition, all-ages chorus that will rehearse mid-February through May and will perform as the chorus for the May Revels. Depending on where the world goes, the community chorus will sing masked, and we will require that all participants be fully vaccinated. Our primary concern, as always, is the safety of you, the Revels community. There's more information about the community chorus on the Revels website. But let's sing together right now. So when you attend a Christmas Revels in person, the first part of the evening is the teaching, a few minutes that you get to just learn a couple of the songs, and it's generally led by Robert and sometimes Betsy. And our broadcast show this evening is no different. We are going to begin going back to Robert Lockwood and Betsy Branch.
Hello, I'm Robert Lockwood, music director.
I'm Betsy Branch. I'm the Associate Music Director.
And we have several songs that we would like to sing with you during the show, as we do every year. The songs are available in the program, which you can get online, and we'll also have lyrics on screen for you. The first song that we'll sing together near the beginning of the show is the famous American Christmas carol, Joy to the World. We don't need to rehearse that one because I think many of you probably know it or recognize it. The second song we'll sing together is an American gospel song written in 1929, I'll Fly Away. It's probably familiar to many of you, but let's sing it all the way through together. And would you give me a little introduction, please?
Sure. Make sure I'm in tune.
That would be good. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Great, great. Now, the last song that we'll sing together in the show is Finlandia, also known as This Is My Song. Now, we sang this in our show last year, and several years ago during our Nordic Lights show, we also sang it, so it may be familiar to you, but we've added a third verse.
Yes, this year our founder, Dick Lewis, wrote us a beautiful third verse, and we're very grateful to him.
So we're going to sing the first verse all together, all the way through from top to bottom. Again, it's available in your program that you can get online. Would you mind giving me my pitch? Very good, thank you. Here we go. This is my song, a song of all the nations, a song of peace for lands afar and wide. This is my home, the country where my heart is. Here are my hopes, my dreams, my holy shrine. But other hearts in other lands are beating with hopes and dreams as true and high as mine. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Betsy. So now that you are prepared, it's time for the Christmas Revels 2021. The show runs about an hour and 10 minutes and has no intermission. Before we begin, I'd just like you to stop and take a moment and imagine other people in other places throughout the world who've gathered to experience the Christmas revels on this shortest day of 2021. Thank you for being a part of this Revels community. Enjoy.
Thank you all for being a part of this Revels celebration of the return of the light. We'd like to take a moment to recognize that the city of Portland and the surrounding metro areas sit on the traditional homeland of the Multnomah, Clackamas, Tualatin, Chinook, Kalapuya, Malala, and many other tribes who made their homes along the Columbia River. We recognize that the legalized theft of indigenous land was the beginning of a long history of white supremacy in Oregon, which has also systemically excluded and displaced Black Oregonians. As we gather to restore the light, please take a moment to consider this legacy of darkness and what we can do to bring back the light to our communities. We hope that as you experience this shared journey, you'll sing, laugh, dance with us if you're able, and that you'll feel surrounded by this Revels community of joy. We truly need all of you to bring back the light. Thank you.
I love it. Come on, sing heaven. I'm going to make. Come on, let's make it a big church choir here. Come on, sing heaven. I'm going to make. Come on, sing heaven, heaven. That's where I'm going. I'm going to make. And here's what we're going to do to walk. Where the half has never been told. Where the half has never been told. I'm going to make. Now that you know the song, come on and sing along with us. Come on, sing heaven. I'm going to make. Come on, say it again, sing heaven. I'm going to make. Now let's take it back to the ring to walk the streets. Where the half has never been told. To walk the street. Where the half has never been told. Come on, let's take it up. I love it. Where the half has never been told. Come on and walk with us. Where the half has never been told. Say it again. Where the half. Where the half. Let's take it up. I'm gonna make. Now everybody put your hands on it. Come on and clap, clap, clap. Here we go. I'll make heaven. I'll make heaven. I love it. Say it again. Here we go. I'll make heaven. Say it again. I'll make heaven. Come on and rock with us. Rock, 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 rock with us.
morning, gentlemen. A-sleeping I have been, and I've had such a sleep as the like have never seen. But now I am awake, alive unto this day. The dancers shall have their dance, and the doctor take his pay.
You know, this reminds me of a story. Deep in the forest, in a faraway place, but not so long ago, there was a girl named Dara who lived by herself. Unbeknownst to anyone, Dara's parents had long ago moved to a spiritual plane, and she had no siblings with which to share her days. And so every morning, before the sun rose, Dara would wake, make her straw bed, sweep her concrete floor, and began making the porridge that she would eat by candlelight every morning, noon, and night. Early mornings were spent tending to the garden, full of rose hips for well-being, butterfly pea flowers for love, rosemary for loyalty, lemon verbena for clarity, peppermint for strength, ginger for passion, sage for wisdom, lavender for trust, and thyme for courage. For much of her day, Dara would search the forest for beehives and carefully extract honeycomb to make beeswax candles to sell in the village market every Sunday. Most days, she wouldn't even hear her own voice, just the low humming of bees around her. Every Sunday at the market, the people in the village would remark about the lovely little girl with the stars in her eyes and the delightful candles, but then quickly forget about her existence until the next market. At night, after eating her evening porridge, Dara would settle into her straw bed and light one of her candles bearing the scent of lemon and rosemary and read one of the many books that her father had left behind. When her eyes became heavy, she would blow out the candle and then tuck herself in. And in the morning, she would wake before the sun to begin the routine again. In her dreams, however, Dara's imagination ran rampant, allowing her to travel to the vibrant, far-off lands foretold in her books, eat extravagant food at banquets made for hundreds, and have philosophical conversations with dream companions that spanned deep into the night. When she awoke in the morning, there was no one to greet her. One morning, when Dara stepped outside, she noticed a little package on the fence post by the cottage entrance. It was wrapped up in brown paper, tied with twine, and bore no markings nor note. She carefully picked it up, examined it, twirled it around her fingers to gently shake it by her ear to see if she could guess what it was. It had been so long since she had received any sort of present. This couldn't be for me, she thought. Someone must have left this here by accident. So she left the package there and went about her day, tending to the garden, gathering beeswax, and eating her porridge. The next morning, when Dara stepped outside, she noticed yet another package on top of the one from yesterday. It, too, was wrapped up in brown paper and tied with twine. This time, the packages included a tiny piece of parchment with the words, "For you," written in script. Dara could not fathom that "for you" could possibly refer to her. Someone had to be leaving their packages at the wrong cottage. In the evening, when she returned from the forest, they were still there, waiting for her. Well, this was very curious. They must be for the old woman who lives down at the river, Dara thought to herself. No one knows me to give me a present. In her dreams that night, instead of attending a feast in a beautifully embroidered gown, or traveling to a far-off land on a fancy ship, Dara dreamed she was opening hundreds of brown paper packages tied with twine. But for every package she opened, 2 more would appear in its place. As soon as Dara woke, she decided that if the package was still there, she would open it to see what it was. Maybe she could deliver it to the right person. Again, she did her morning duties, and when she stepped outside, she noticed not 2, but 4 little packages tied with twine on the fence post. This time the note had changed. For the girl that sells the beeswax candles in the village on Sundays. Dara felt her cheeks grow warm. These packages were for her. Ripping into one, she discovered a beautiful glass raindrop. It was still dark outside, so Dara ran inside, grabbed one of her candles. She struck a matchstick, lit the candle, and held the glass piece right up to the light. Lovely spray of color and light fragments swirled around Dara's face, opening up a world of shooting stars and planets and twinkling constellations. She let herself absorb the beauty of the glass bubble and felt herself begin to glow from the inside, from the idea that someone had seen her. Someone had noticed her little existence enough to gift her with something that in size was so small, but in nature contained multitudes. Dara quickly opened up all of the packages and found 3 more glass raindrops, all smaller than the first. They each had a tiny silver thread that clipped into the first to form a garland. Dara placed the raindrops in front of her window and then went into the garden to begin her day. When she came back from the forest, she noticed yet another package on her fence post. This one was much bigger than the rest. A longer piece of parchment was under this package. Picking them both up, she walked into her cottage and was met with a million shards of colorful light twinkling around her. Walls, floor. Dara's breath caught in her chest at the sight. "This is beautiful," she whispered. Inside the package she brought was a set of glass candle holders and a note that read, "I love your candles so much, I wanted you to have something to hold them in. Tomorrow at the market, please say hello. Your friend, the glass blower." Glass blower? The glass blower? Dara's eyes darted back and forth, trying to remember if she knew someone by that description. She didn't recall ever meeting or seeing a glass blower at the market, but she knew that she would look for them tomorrow. That night, Dara could hardly sleep. She was so excited. First thing in the morning, she bundled up her candles and her special thank you for the glass blower and set out for the village. Once there, she set up her section, and for the first time in a long time, she set about the market. Every section Dara came upon brought back a vivid memory. The smell of cinnamon, honey, and roasted nuts from the cart up the road reminded her of when her father would bring her a bag of nuts after every Sunday market. She spotted the richly dyed swatches of cloth behind the dressmaker and remembered that was where her mother would buy her frocks. And tears welled up in Dara's eyes as she took in more and more of the vibrant market around her. Sweet memories rolled over her, making her glow again from the inside, much like the glass bubbles. Suddenly, she noticed a familiar, colorful glint of light cascading across the market floor. Sounds of the chiming glass gently swaying in the wind met her ears. And when she looked up, she saw them. It was the glass bubbles and a new face. A young, tall boy with a mop of curly brown hair and rich brown eyes smiled and waved at her. She timidly waved back and walked over to his stall. "You came! Did you like the candle holders?" he asked. Dara nodded and smiled. Her eyes lit up, remembering that she had a gift to give back to him, a candle made of peppermint for strength, lavender for trust, and thyme for courage. The glassblower looked up at the candle that had been tied up with twine and a stalk of lavender, and then looked at Dara. She then saw a beautiful crimson blush appear on his cheeks, inching up to his ears. A huge smile bloomed across his face, and she felt a big burst in her heart, just like one of his glass bubbles in the sunlight.
Methinks I see an heavenly host of angels on the wing. Methinks I hear their cheerful notes, so merrily they sing, so merrily they sing. Let all your fears be banished, the tidings I proclaim. For there's a Savior born today, and Jesus is his name, and Jesus is his name. Lay down your crooks and quit your thoughts, to Bethlehem repair, and let your wandering steps be squared by yonder shining star, by yonder shining star. Seek not in courts or palaces, or royal curtains draw, but search the stable, see your God extended on the straw, extended on the straw. Then learn from hence, ye rural swains, the meekness of your God, who left the boundless realms of joy to ransom you with blood, to ransom you with blood. To one and all and some me now of one accord, the first and last, the last and first, eternal praise afford, eternal praise afford.
Squirrel flying low, kitty alone, kitty alone. Squirrel flying low, kitty alone alive. Squirrel flying low, and the cactus in tow, kitty alone alive. Rock'em ivy. In came a little bat, kitty alone, kitty alone. In came a little bat, kitty alone.
has been. I am that I am, which was and always has been. I am that I am, oh, which was and always has been. I am, oh, that I am, which was and always has been. I am, oh, which was and always has been. And you will find that we've been together all this time. Knock and the door will open. I'm the way, the truth, the light. Oh, yes. I am that I am, which was and always has been. Bring me your souls who have forgotten from whence they came. Let love remind us we share the great night. I am that I am, which was and always has been. The hour is growing late. The Lord has opened up
so the shortest day came and the year died. And everywhere down the centuries of the snow-white world came people singing, dancing to drive the dark away. They lighted candles in the winter trees. They hung their homes with evergreen. They burned beseeching fires all night long to keep the year alive. And when the New Year's sunshine blazed awake, they shouted, reveling, through all the frosty ages. You can hear them echoing behind us. Listen. All the long echoes sing the same delight. This shortest day, as promise wakens in the sleeping land, they carol, feast, give thanks, and dearly love their friends, and hope for peace. And so do we, here, now, this year and every year. Welcome, Yule.
Welcome, Yule! This is my song, the song of all the nations, a song of peace for lands
Thank you all so much for being a part of this Christmas Revels Portland Jam and for helping us bring back the light. The show we've just experienced together will be available directly from the Revels website through the 12 days of Christmas. So please share the light with family, friends, anyone throughout the world. We could not have produced this Christmas Revels 2021 without the generous support of over 500 donors like you and your neighbors and your friends. If you would like to support the creation of Christmas Revels that we've just shared, or help Portland Revels stay strong to create work that will bring back the light in 2022, visit portlandrevels.org today. Whatever you're able to give is a blessing. And if your only gift is your presence with us, we are truly blessed. Sing, dance, tell stories with the people around you. Make your own revels. Welcome Yule. Good night.